This is BS of the week. We are at, what is this? I think we finished our week 5 games. I'm Patrick Driggett, coach of the Berlin Fire, and I am joined by my friend.
Hi there, I'm Kevin Lucy from the Glasgow Rushmores.
How are you, Kev?
I'm fine, mate, and your good self?
Oh yeah, I'm good. We were going to get joined by our good friend Phil Holton this week, and unfortunately, he couldn't make it last minute. But we hope he's feeling better. So he actually contributed. The game of the week is from our friend Phil, and so Kev will be he'll do
Yeah,
his best Phil impression. He'll stand on stilts and get very tall, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
do his
Get well,
best.
Phil. Get well
Yeah,
soon, mate.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we're just gonna jump right into it. We got some LFC results. So the first was the fire at the Statesman, and I know that I'm always doom and gloom about the fire, but I really was didn't think there was any way for us to win, and Lee proved me correct. So this week I was finally correct in my prediction. He blew us out 27-6, and that's all that can be said about that. Good job to Lee. Next, we have Phoenix at the Sun Devils. The Phoenix brought their A game against the Sun Devils that appear to be playing for the top pick in the next season's draft. Phoenix win 38-7. Good job, Ian. And next, we have the Sharks at the Buccaneers. The Sharks also destroyed the Buccaneers on the road, and they won 31-10. Another blowout. We had the Knights at the Shadows. The Knights dominated for a win on the road, 26-3. So we've had a lot of competitive games this season, Kev, but I think this week we finally had quite a few blowouts. So
Yep.
so yeah, but
you're
but
gonna you're gonna find us. You're gonna find a similar situation at PFC as well, mate.
yeah, but we had a couple good ones. So Irish at Massive, the this one wasn't a high scoring game, but the Massive were up 12-0 at half. It was a really low yardage game. The Irish did try to come back in the fourth with 10 points, but with another field goal from the Massive, they won at home 15-10. Um, Patriots at the 66ers. It was kind of a game of turnovers that unfortunately the Patriots ended up giving up more, including 7 fumbles. They didn't give up 7 fumbles, but they had 7 fumbles among other turnover potentials. So it was close. Or sorry, it wasn't. Was it close? Sorry, I'm losing my place in my notes, Kev. No, it was close. Yeah, at the end of the third quarter, it was 20-20 all. But then the 66ers actually kind of took the first play of the fourth quarter. They took the lead and they held it from there. 66ers defend at home 37-27. So congratulations to the
Yeah.
66ers.
Not looking forward to them next week.
Hey,
They're quite stubborn.
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Um, well, speaking of stubborn Rushmores, we had the Giant Hornets at the Rushmores, which was a great game. Honestly, Kev, you've been doing really good this season. We both kind of started off with a pretty good record, but the Giant Hornets, they're a bowl contenders, and I think we can all agree. But you give them a fight, and it was
Yep.
it was 17 all in up until the fourth quarter. Um,
Yeah, I
Rushmore's
mean, to be quite
go ahead.
honest, to,
Yeah.
to come within 7 points of the Hornets is, I mean, especially when you see how close they ran the Rivets last week. I was really, really pleased with that.
Yeah. I mean,
Here's,
you have to be proud of your squad for real.
yeah, here's a good trivia question for you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Which team in the whole of Big Sky is leading the defensive ratings?
I have no
And
clue.
it is the Glasgow Hornets. Sorry, the Glasgow Hornets. The swarming giant Hornets.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
they have the best defense in the whole of Big Sky. And I never thought I'd ever say that about one of Colin's teams.
That's crazy. Well, good for them. Yeah, I mean, Collins trying to win this year, I think. And
Yeah.
I think he has the squad. I think
Oh
he
yeah,
may.
he's serious this season. He really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Um yeah. So anyway, yeah, spoilers. The Giant Hornets did end up winning 24-17, but wow, you gave them a great challenge. Good on you, Kev. Yeah, great performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like your rebuild's going well as well. So that's awesome.
Yes, I've got an interesting game coming at week 8. That'll be interesting.
Oh, what is that one?
Some team from Germany,
Oh,
the Berlin Fire.
yeah. If you can get that close to the Hornets, I feel like you may have it, but we'll see. We'll see.
We
I'm gonna
shall
make
see.
I'm gonna make it my key game just because. All right. Weasels.
Just out of badness.
Yeah, just because I'm gonna talk it up. Special teams, special play is gonna happen that week. Yeah, just so I can get the cred during Beast of the
Yeah.
Week. Literally the only reason. Um, um, yeah, so we had the Weasels at Rhinos. The Weasels actually entered the second quarter up with the lead 7-3, but then the Rhinos kind of turned on the afterburners and went up. They scored 14 in the second to go up 17-7. In the second half, both teams traded touchdowns, but there were never any lead changes from there. 24-17 was the final score. Rhinos win at home. What about the PFC, Kev?
Well, you hit the nail on the head earlier on when you said that until this season, up until week 5, we've had some very, very close games all the way through. We've had some fantastic 1-point matches, 3-point matches, etc., etc. But all good things have got to come to an end. And they sure as heck did this week, because in the PFC, we had no fewer than 6 blowouts, just about. Not quite total blowouts, but if I give you the scores, I'm not really going to talk about the games because, to be quite honest, it was a bit one-sided. So the Rivets, 68, the Bombers, 3. We had the Generals, 55, the Chargers, 6. So again, another one-sided game. Eagles, 38, the Devils, 7. We had the Packers, 38, the Huskies, 7. So again, similar score. Getting a bit closer now. We actually had the Bulldogs, 38, against the Warriors, 13. Still pretty convincing win there. And then we had Phil's Rapiers, 38, against the Rough Riders, 16. And basically what happened with the Rapiers is their quarterback, Pogue, linked up with Orlando, the wide receiver Orlando, and also the running back, Galloway. He got over 100 yards. So an aerial and a rushing sort of offense basically saw pay to Peter's shall we say, rejuvenated, resurgent Rough Riders. He's had quite a good season this year, but unfortunately came back unstuck today. Last week. Then we had a fantastic game. One of the best games of the season, I would say. And this was the Maroons against the Surfers. Now, going into this game, the Maroons were 4-0, and the Surfers were 2-2. So Gary really had to get this game under his belt. He had to win this game to have any chance really of staying in the playoff wildcard hunt. So what he did is he talked the game up. He had home field advantage. He also made his key game. And he put in a special teams play. So he threw the kitchen sink and everything at it, absolutely everything. And the result was he squeaked it by 1 point. So it obviously was worthwhile because it was the Maroons 16, the Surfers 17. And here really it was, the result in my opinion was down to one player. And that was defensive end Spartan. Who on this game alone had 7 sacks and 8 tackles from one player. And he really was the difference because he kept the Maroons offense basically off the board for a long time. He basically sorted out Samuels, their quarterback, didn't let him get into his stride, get the game going. And he also helped enormously with the 2 running backs, keeping them to under 100 yards for the day. So an excellent performance from Spartan. He was the man of the match and he deserved to be the man of the match. So that was a great game. It also keeps the Surfers very much in the hunt for the playoff situation. And we've got a very interesting game, which we'll hear about a bit later on, that the Maroons will be playing next week. But that was basically the PFC. We also had in the PFC, Phil left us his game of the week. And that was the game between no less than the Titans. And who did the Titans play?
Stormers.
The Stormers, indeed, indeed, indeed. And this was sort of one of those games where 9-7 at halftime to the Stormers. I think, to be quite honest, probably a lot of people would have predicted the Titans to have won this game. And this was really a defensive masterclass from the Stormers. The total yardage under 200 yards for the Stormers, under 200 yards for, or just over 200 yards for the Titans. We had a number of sacks. Ironically, we had 11 sacks going on to Ant, but Ant was the Stormers quarterback. So it didn't actually seem to make much difference to the result of the game. If you looked at the second half, in the total in the second half, then only 3 points were scored in the whole of the second half. So you can see just how much the defenses were on top here. Good game plan from Mark. And again, it sort of, does it keep his season open? Yeah, I think it does to a certain extent. And James has got to regroup and go again. But that was my game of the week this week, or it was Phil's game of the week. And it was a cracking game and good advert for defensive football. So that was what happened over in the PFC. What about the coach of the week? Do we have a coach of the week this week, right?
Well, I mean, you did a really good reason. You already explained it all. But to recap, we had a coach that gave it everything they had. They talked it up. Yeah. They made a key game. They used their special teams play, and they won by one. And that's Coach Gary Stevens. Very well earned coach of the week victory there.
Yeah, I think we both concur with that one. It was talk about sticking all your eggs in one basket, but it worked. It's one of those ones where as a coach,
I mean, it's a risk.
If it works, you look good.
Yeah, exactly. Because otherwise, you don't have to use all that. So that was great. Good job, Coach Stevens. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's good. I agree with that one, mate.
Kev, what game should we watch week 6? What do we have?
Okay, week 6 again. We've had some pretty close games this season, and looking on paper, there doesn't look to be that many close games next week. By close games, what I mean is basically a 4-3 playing a 3-2, or a 3-2 playing a 2-1, or the sides that are close to each other. Mm-hmm. So the ones I'm going to ask you to watch for are the 3-2 Phoenix, who are playing at the 4-1 Fire.
Oh, so
that
scared.
Will be one heck of an interesting game because really you sort of feel the Phoenix have got to win that one, believe it or not. Playing away from home, if you squeaked that one, then the Phoenix could well be really struggling to get into the playoffs. So that's a very important game there. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, another close game is the Rushmore's 3-2 at the 2-3 66ers. Again, if I don't win that one, I'm out of the playoffs, I think. And again, 66ers have got a chance of coming back into the picture again. We've got the 3-2 Rough Riders, who are at the 4-1 Generals. Again, you have to think that if Pete's Rough Riders lose that one, they're probably struggling to get into the playoff situation. Whereas if the Generals win, they're moving forever upwards, as it were. But without any shadow of a doubt, there is one fantastic must-watch game of the week next week. And that is the 5-0 Rivets they're playing away at the 4-1 Maroons. Ooh. Now, could this be, I dare to say it, could this be the end of the Rivets run? Because the Maroons at home were surprise losers to the Surfers last week, but only by 1 point. They could be one of the teams to actually undo the Rivets. It's weird when you look at like their offensive stats and their defensive stats, because Conrad, although he's absolutely supreme, he's only about mid-table, 10th or something like that in offensive stats. Mm-hmm. He's only about 7th or 8th in defensive stats. So he's never top of the league in terms of defense and offense. He just puts the whole game together. And similarly, to the Maroons. To be quite honest, they're not top of any, you know, rushing yards, rushing defense, passing defense. They're just nicely in the sort of top 10, and in both categories. No real major weaknesses, and that will be one hell of a match. And I'm really looking forward to that one. I think if the Rivets survive that one, they're looking Super Bowl bound, or super. Yeah, they will. I think get the Super Bowl if they win that one. Collins, uh, Hornets will obviously have something to say about that, but we shall see, as it were. So those are the games to watch next week, Patrick.
Awesome. Yeah, those sound great. I'm obviously I sound like I'm repeating myself over and over again, but scared about this Phoenix game. I think Ian has a really strong squad still, so we shall see. It'd be great if we get the win, though. I feel good about our playoff hopes if we do win.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, thanks for those week 6 games to watch. That's all we got this week. You know, we're in the middle of the season and things are looking awesome. It's been great. You know, this week didn't have as many competitive games, but it's been a really good season so far. So some great games. And yeah, hope everyone has a great week. Get those green check marks, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Take care.
Take care, everyone.